Welcome to the BDB Platform. This workflow helps in optimizing the price of the crop for an improved revenue. The order of execution of the workflow is as shown. Navigate to the app's menu icon, choose Data Pipeline plugin, create a new pipeline. Name the pipeline Crop Price Predicted, and add a pipeline description. Save the pipeline. Let's now add a synthetic data generator component and generate data for crops and their respective related information. Let's configure the basic information and choose invocation type as real-time. Configure the meta information and set the iterations to 10 and batch size to 100 to generate 1000 records of data. Let's upload the sample file from the local to generate the sample JSON schema. We can alter the schema to favor our requirement, like adding patterns, values, minimum and maximum dates. The updated schema can be inferred from the document for reference. Let's update the pipeline and add an event. Drag and drop the event and give the number of outputs as 2. Now let's drag and drop the DB writer and the sandbox writer to the pipeline canvas from the components library. Let's configure the sandbox writer and set the invocation type as batch. Configure the meta information by providing an appropriate sandbox file name. Configure the file type as JSON. And save mode as append. Let's now save the component properties and update the pipeline. Moving on to the DB writer component, let's configure the basic information and set the invocation type as batch. And in the meta information, configure the host IP address. Configure the port. Now let's configure the username. Followed by configuring the password. Let's now configure the database name. And set the table name as per your choice so as to in which table the data will be written. Choose the driver as MYSQL. And the save mode as append. Let's validate the connection and save the component properties to storage. Now we have to update the pipeline and activate the pipeline. We can track the status of the pipeline from the logs and the advanced logs and refresh the logs to check the fresh status and wait until the data is written successfully to the DB and the sandbox writer. Let's now check the event if the data is written in the preview option. We can see that DB writer has started processing. We can now see the sandbox writer started processing. Now we see the sandbox writer and DB writer has processed and is stopping as shown in the logs. We can now deactivate the pipeline. Let's now navigate to the Data Center plugin. Head over to the Sandbox subplug. Let's now do some data preparation for the Sandbox file. Choose the column to be transformed. The date_added column is chosen. Let's rename the column from date added to date. Let's rename the pipeline to crop prep. We can now see the transformations performed under the Steps section. Let's now head over to the DS Lab plugin. Head over to Create a Project. Give a preferred project name. Add a project description describing the model you want to build. Choose the environment and the resource allocation, and set an idle shutdown as your choice. And save the project. Let's now activate the project. And head over to the AutoML tab to create the experiment. Let's now configure the experiment name. Choose the target column as price/LTR/KG. And click on Next. Select the experiment type as regression and click on Done. You can see the experiment status as started. The experiment is completed and we can view the report. The model trained is a Kneighbors dist bag on the target column. Now let's head over to the Data Pipeline plugin and view the pipeline created which was used for generating the data. Head over to the Components library and drag and drop a sandbox reader into the pipeline canvas. And configure the component as shown in the video. Let's now drag and drop an event by clicking on the plus symbol. Let's realign the component and link the component to the event. Now let's drag and drop the data prep component and configure the component. Set the invocation type as batch. And in the meta information, choose the data center type as data sandbox. Choose the sandbox name and the data preparation name respectively from the data center plugin and the data prepartition plugin. Let's add another event and drag and drop to the pipeline canvas. Now let's link the connections. Followed by we will add an AutoML runner component to train the data from the model generated. Configure the AutoML runner component as shown in the video. For the model name to be displayed in the drop-down, we need to register the model in the DS Lab plugin. Head over to the DS Lab module and in the Model tab. From the drop-down, choose All and register the model. And click on Yes. Head back to the Pipeline tab and reload the page and update the pipeline. Realign the AutoML component. Add a new event by clicking on the plus symbol and drag and drop to the pipeline canvas. Join the connections from the component to the events. Now let's search for the DB Writer component from the components library and drag and drop to the pipeline canvas. Configure the components as shown in the video for the DB Writer component. Configure the meta information with the DB details and you can contact the DevOps team for the same. Choose the DB where you want to write the data, and an appropriate table name to where the data has to be written. Choose the respective driver in the video. The driver used is a MYSQL driver. And save mode as append. Join the links, update the pipeline and activate the pipeline. We can similarly track the logs and the advanced logs for the status of the pipeline. We can also the status of the component from the component logs. Once the data is written to the DB, we can head over to the Data Center module and create a data store to visualize the data generated. For that, head over to the Apps menu, choose the Data Center plugin. Create a sandbox file to add the predicted data. On the created sandbox file, let's now create a data store to create a business story. You can check out the data store created in the Data Stores tab. For visualization, let's head over to the Business Story plugin. Now create a new story. You can add a description for a better clarity. Let's now select an existing data store and choose the data store created. And create a story. The columns are listed on the left-hand side under the data store created. Let's now begin to create the KPIs. Choose the chart required and double-click on the column name. Head over to the settings icon and rename the KPI to be displayed in the view. The title is set as Total Crops. And save the view. Or we can re-edit the chart as a trendline KPI by adding the date along with the crop count. Click on the three dots to give a display name as a tooltip for the chart. Head over to Properties and add a label name to the chart. And save the view. On the right bottom corner, from the settings icon, change the theme to a dark theme. Similarly, let's create a new view. To find the total products, double-click on product names and choose the KPI tile chart. From the left top corner settings icon, let's give a title and description if required. Click on the three dots options and edit. Head over to Properties and give a label name. Let's create a new view to depict a trend line with respect to the optimal predicted price. Save the view. Let's edit the view and add the tooltip by clicking on the three dots. Head over to Properties and give a label name. Save the view. Rearrange the views created and save the story. Let's in the same manner create a view to depict the total product types by double-clicking on the product types column. Similarly, create a KPI tile view to depict the total target pests. Similarly, let's create a final KPI tile to depict the total suppliers. Let's create a new view to depict the product types by the optimal price per liter per kg. A bar chart is chosen and the settings icon is chosen to change the title and summary. Save the view. We can now rearrange the views to suit the requirement for the story. And save the story. Let's create another view to depict the supplier distribution using a pie chart. Let's now save the view. Let's create another view using the line chart. Let's add the tooltip by clicking on the three dots. Adding the title and summary from the settings icon on the left top part of the canvas. Let's now expand the chart to fit the story canvas. From options, edit the line chart to add the column pre-harvest interval days to give an add-on information along with the optimal price per liter per kg over the months. Let's create another view to depict the active ingredients by their optimal price per liter per kg using a tree map chart. Now adjust the tree map to fit the story canvas. And save the story. Now create another view to depict the hierarchical product distribution with respect to the optimal price per liter per kg distribution. On the right-hand side there are options to export. The grid option depicts the same data in the grid format. Adjust the dissolution chart to fit the business story canvas. Let's now add a pop of colors to the existing story as shown in the workflow. Pick a range of colors you wish to add in the story. Head over to Properties and change the label value color of your desired choice. Copy the color and save the view. Similarly, edit the remaining KPI tiles and change the label value color to the copied color from the clipboard. For the bar chart, click on the three dots on the prediction column and choose the color you wish to depict for the bar chart. Kindly note to set the precision to 2 for all the charts to maintain uniformity. And save the view. Let's change the series of colors for the pie chart. From the series of colors, add the colors you wish to add for the pie chart. In the same fashion, let's change the line colors of the line chart. Similarly, change the color theme for the tree map chart by adding a gradient of colors from the highest to lowest under the Properties tab. And finally, to change the colors for the dissolution chart, head over to Properties and change the Fill Color option to a desired color. And save the view. Let's finally add a global filter as date for the user to filter the charts for any required date or relatively for the last 10 months. The last step is to save the story to update all the changes made as of now. Thank you. I hope you have understood how to create an end-to-end workflow in a jiffy using the BDB platform.